The Antichrist will come in his own name and be accepted. John 5:43. The first major hint of the identity of the Antichrist comes from Jesus, who told the Pharisees, "I have come in my Father's name, and you do not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you will receive." Coming in the name of someone means that you are speaking on their behalf, representing their authority or interest. This is what Jesus did as he spoke on behalf of and represented God the Father. By the time Trump burst onto the political scene, he already had marked his own name on dozens of buildings, properties, and products around the world. For example, we have had Trump wine, Trump steaks, Trump water, Trump hotels, Trump games, Trump tower, Trump airplanes, Trump helicopters, Trump casinos, Trump perfume, Trump vodka, Trump University, Trump mortgage, Trump magazine, Trump books, Trump restaurants, Trump clothing, Trump golf, Trump hats, Trump sneakers, Trump guitars, Trump watches, Trump flags, even Trump Bibles.
Set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1.
He had made a name for himself long before running for president. He has used the cachet of his own name as an entry point into politics and to gain acceptance with Christian evangelicals. Trump's name is so well known that former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney stated that it is the most recognizable name in the English language and probably around the world.
Trump Bedminster. He goes to play golf at Trump up in Sterling. And everybody asks the question, is it not a huge marketing opportunity? I would simply ask you all to consider the possibility that Donald Trump's brand is probably strong enough as it is, and he doesn't need any more help on that. This is not like it's the most recognizable name in the English language and probably around the world right now.
So then we'll go to John 5:43. This is important. This is Jesus speaking. I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, Trump, make America great again. I can solve all wars. I know what I'm doing. I know everything about everything. You know, he's got all his real estate buildings, you know, with his name Trump plastered on it. You know, that's his boastfulness and his pride.
Donald Trump, the false Messiah.
Jesus told the Pharisees, the religious leaders of his day, that although they rejected him, someone else would come in his own name and be accepted. Trump not only arrived on the political scene having already achieved worldwide fame, thus coming in his own name, but he is now widely beloved throughout Israel with train stations and town squares named after him.
הנשיא טראמפ הוא ידיד גדול מאוד של מדינתנו. מנהיג שעשה דברים שלא נעשו קודם לכן והיו צריכים לעשות.
The Israeli government is naming a train station near Jerusalem's Western Wall after President Trump. The move comes after Mr. Trump announced plans earlier this month to move the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. The station will be part of an extension of a nearly completed high-speed rail line.
And his image appearing on commemorative temple coins alongside King Cyrus.
Okay, this is the original mold of the second Cyrus Trump temple coin. And as you can see over here, let's see what we have. Okay, first of all, we have over here in Hebrew, lemalot 70 shana, to fulfill 70 years. The original verse, to fulfill 70 years, is when the Jews went out to exile, to the Babylonian exile. They were there for 70 years. And after 70 years, King Cyrus said, God, the Lord of the world, gave me permission to let you, the Jews, come back to the land of Israel. And look what he said. And he charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. That happened about 2,500 years ago. 70 years. For the state of Israel, something happened again. One of the biggest leaders of the world, again, President Donald Trump, and here we see the seal of America. He again recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, of the state of Israel, the people of Israel. And he also built a house in Jerusalem. But we don't want only the embassy. We hope, just as King Cyrus pushed us, the Jewish people, to rebuild the temple, we hope all the 70 nations and President Donald Trump, after he recognized Jerusalem as the spiritual, holy capital of the land of Israel, of the state of Israel, he will help us, the Jewish people, rebuild the third temple. And that's why we have the seal of America, the original Persian Empire.
Christianity and Islam and all the monotheism religious has a very, very important role to unify everybody, to worship the true living God, and to prosper and thrive according to God's will. It's so simple.
Do you think that the Vatican Pope Francis, he seems to have a similar message? Do you think that that Rome will go along with this too? Do you think this is...
No, I don't think so. In the U.S., there are 30,000 denominations of Christianities. So, according to what we received, part of them will be part of the redemption, part of them no. It's very, very simple. So, whomever will accept to be exactly as the nations, whomever will come as a person to come to be to worship God, he will be part of the redemption. As simple as that.
What I believe is the one who's going to switch from Yahweh to Yavoid is Donald Trump. He will turn America from Yahweh to Yavoid, because everything he said indicates that. He's going to really be a tremendous president in the United States. Tremendous. He's going to stand up to all the nations of the world. He's going to side with Israel when he realizes that they cannot make peace with Israel, as I've said before, because it's theologically impossible. And that's why I believe, remember I said that the Gemati of Donald Trump is Gemati Mashiach ben David? You know what that means? He, I believe, is the Mashiach of Edom. The Mashiach is nothing more than an anointed one, right? That completely reverses the order of something. Trump, I believe, is the Messiah of Edom, of Esau. And therefore, he will take them from Yahweh to Yavoid. From someone who afflicts Israel to someone who will assist them. And believe me, he's going to be fabulous with the Jewish people.
Jesus warned us that someone would come in his own name and be accepted, and that's exactly what has happened with Donald J. Trump.
We will not rest until the horrible and vile ideology of anti-Semitism has been defeated and destroyed. For this reason, I recently signed an executive order to restrict federal funding to any college or university that spreads, supports, or promotes anti-Semitic prejudice in any form.
President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago.
And take a look at what happened.
I want to promise you one thing. If Trump was the president right now, we would be able to win 10 times faster and 10 times better against our Nazi enemies. He would give us any weapon we want, unconditional. He wouldn't care what the world is barking about. He would shut down these European liberals and tell them just be quiet. I run the show here.
Well, you know, the biggest change I've seen in Congress is Israel literally owned Congress. You understand that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And it was so powerful. It was so powerful. And today it's almost the opposite. They had such power. Israel had such power, and rightfully, over Congress. And now it doesn't. It's incredible, actually.
And you don't have to say, well, I don't know, where's he at? I don't like the way you talk. I understand all that. But the thing is that we're talking about God's purposes. That's what we're talking about. God uses whom he'll use. But he was used. He also was used very powerfully for Jerusalem. Jerusalem, recognizing Jerusalem. He's the first modern leader. First leader since ancient times who recognized Jerusalem, as that. He was used in some very, very important ways. Look, by the way, people forget about it, is the Golan Heights. He said we recognize the Golan Heights as part of Israel. So these are major things. So he will strengthen, his way has been to strengthen Israel. We'll see what happens, but that's what it has been in the first administration. Israel loves Trump, and it's one of the few nations that he would win.
Thankful for what they do. In the Hebrew religion, they wait for the Messiah to come. So the Messiah, Moshe ben David, if you take their name, you see where it adds up 424. If you take your name, Donald Trump, and then Israel, it adds up to 424. It's something that is very, very unbelievable. What does that mean?
It's like you have the same numbers and Messiah,
Meaning good, right?
Yeah, it's like not good. It's like best. It's like miracle.
Why 424?
It's like name of Messiah.
That's his name. Messiah. The Messiah comes out to 424. What are the numbers? No, it's not the numbers.
It's exactly the number.
Your name, and the numbers. It adds up to his name. It's 424, 424 in the Jews. So it's like Messiah is the person that's come to save the whole world. So it's like you're the savior of being there. That's for you a blessing.
It's amazing. We just thought we're like, wow. It's amazing,
It can't hurt. It can't hurt.
So, all Jew people of Ukraine, they're praying of you. They're like.
Show it to Jared. He'll explain. Mr. President, can I share with them about what the rabbi gave to you? I think it's special. Since you're Jewish, you understand the Messiah. So the head rabbi of Ukraine and Israel, they took the president Donald Trump, his name, and they came out to the same lettering as the Messiah. So it's a very special thing that they had in over today.
So my father. It's the same number, It's amazing how it's counted,
Really,
they're very close friends.
This is also a president who, throughout his campaign, pledged that the United States would be a what he would call a better friend to Israel, more supportive of Israel. Obviously, former President Barack Obama, largely criticized by many for that. He did go to the Western Wall when he was a sitting senator, not though as president. And on his first trip, President Obama to the Middle East, he did not go to Israel, which is notable. And this president is going there directly from Saudi Arabia, which is also notable, as he walks by himself up to the Western Wall. Let's listen.
What I believe is that, this is a quote from him, he says, what I believe is that the one who is going to switch from Esau from persecuting the Jews to Esau who is serving the Jews is Donald Trump. Rabbi Kessin claims he is going to purify Edom.
If you hate Israel, vote Democrat. If you love Israel, vote for Donald J. Trump. It's that simple.
President Donald Trump was the first American president who stood up in defiance to the entrenched and endemic anti-Israel attitude of all previous U.S. administrations towards our presence in the Holy Land. Only he or somebody like him would be the person who deserves this great honor of representing Western society and fulfilling the prophecy uttered to our matriarch Rebecca. The elder one will serve the younger one. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago. And I have good reason to believe Donald Trump was chosen to be the one to redeem the sins of Asa through offering his assistance in rebuilding the Holy Temple on the Temple Mount and establishing the Jewish kingdom over all of mankind in Jerusalem.
This was a special token of affection given by myself and the First Lady to Prime Minister and the First Lady of Israel. And it's a key. We call it a key to the White House, and it's a key to our country and to our hearts.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I have said, and this is true, that you have the key to the hearts of the people of Israel because of all the great things you've done for the Jewish state and the Jewish people. So thank you.
They're looking at Donald Trump. One of the rabbis illustrated how his name in the gematria, the numerology of his name actually means Messiah. Now there's some weird stuff here that's going on. So think about this for a moment. In the Jewish Zohar, 700 years ago in medieval Aramaic, Orthodox Jews speculated about when will the Messiah be on the earth, right? And in the Vieira section of the Zohar, they said he will arrive on earth in the year 57, he will make himself known in the year 5773, which was 2012 to 2013. Oddly enough, Trump goes to Israel in 2012, decides not to run for U.S. president, meets with heads of states, comes out of that, you can watch the YouTube on television, and he starts talking to the Jewish people, telling them to vote for Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud party, which they did, right? But what the Zohar said was, he will be identified. From that day and forward, there have been at least a dozen Jewish rabbis that have said, the Messiah is on earth now. He's been identified. He is soon going to make himself known. Well, some key things have to happen for the messianic figure in the Jewish mindset. For the Messiah to arrive, you can't think of him like we think of Messiah. We think of Messiah after the model of Jesus. He's the Son of God, divine birth, all of that. That's not the way the Jews look at the Messiah. They're looking for a king. They're looking for a political leader. As a matter of fact, Messiah to them means the anointed one, and it goes back to the ancient days when they would anoint a king and recognize him as this is the man that God sent. And what they're looking for is several things. First of all, they're looking for somebody in a political figure who can lead decisive battles in defense of Israel. This is why the only politician on the face of the earth that was standing up and saying, if I'm elected president, I'm going to be the biggest friend that Israel's ever had. We're going to undo the Iran deal, well, blah, 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 right? And being a friend of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Blah, 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 right?
They're looking for, when the Messiah comes, there will be an ingathering of Jews from around the world back into the Holy Land. That's why the rabbis, on the eve of his election, went on television and said, we need to call now Jews from around the world, come back to Jerusalem because the Messiah is here, right?
Yes.
There's another thing. Thirdly, they talk about when he arrives, he is going to reinstitute the temple service. So what was the second thing they did? They called on Trump and Putin to use their power to rebuild the temple and to reinstitute the temple service. They have identified somebody. I mean, there could be a few rabbis there that think he's the Messiah. The other third key is he has to be of the Davidic dynasty. He has to be of the Davidic bloodline. And there is an effort right now to go back through the European monarchy, cousins of President Donald Trump, to show that his bloodline goes back to the Davidic dynasty. I'm just saying there's something very strange here that's going on, and everything I'm saying can be verified. Multiple news agencies, the Jerusalem Post, Breaking Israel News, they're all talking about this right now. So they too believe that we are in the end times. They too believe that the Messiah is about to appear. We would say the second coming is about to happen, but their Messiah is going to be a false Messiah. He's going to be the Antichrist, right?
So here's Rabbi Shapira.
So I went to the Jewish deli, and of course we had the discussion on Trump. I asked them, who is Trump to you? And you know what they said? Trump is our new Messiah, actually.
The Jews at the deli say Trump is their new Messiah.
We have a president that has been the best president in the history of the United States towards the Jews and towards Israel. There's no question about it. No president was nice to the Jews and to Israel more than him.
You know, we just gave the embassy in Jerusalem, making Jerusalem the capital of Israel. I just gave Golan Heights, recognized Golan Heights for Israel. I've done all of this for Israel. We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
Last July, the Israel Heritage Foundation presented Trump with the Crown of Jerusalem Award, which was a silver Torah crown contained in a glass box. An inscription quoted Psalm 136:1 and noted Trump's extraordinary and heroic efforts to help the state of Israel and the Jewish people.
That's the silver crown of Jerusalem. This is to be given to the Messiah and the Messiah only. And 163 Orthodox Jewish rabbis gave Donald Trump the silver crown of the Torah.
Revelation chapter 6 verse 2, that he would receive a crown. You know, these are the Israel rabbis. A lot of these guys are wealthy. You know, they're very religious Jewish leaders, and they're trying to establish themselves, and they're waiting for the Messiah, and they've identified their Messiah. God says, you know, that's why I went over in Samuel. They rejected Samuel, which basically they rejected God, because God was ruling over them with Samuel, you know, because Samuel answered directly from God, and they wanted their earthly king. What are they doing again? They want their earthly king. So if you read the Bible and use everything to get your truth from the Bible, well, what's happening? They've identified their Savior and their King. What is God going to let happen? He's going to let them get what they want, and they're going to realize they made a grand mistake.
In brief remarks at the event, Trump mentioned the Abraham Accords.
I appointed a special envoy to combat anti-Semitism worldwide. We did that, and it was a big deal, as you know, and they did a good job on it. And the Middle East, the very historic Abraham Accords, which is one of the most important agreements. Now, we had 4 countries. We had them lined up to sign. If that election were legitimate, we were in there, we would have had virtually every country in the Middle East. You would have had peace in the Middle East. They have signed exactly no people, no countries, and everybody wanted to sign. They don't care. It's like they don't care. This administration, they don't care. But we would have had them all signed up. I think every single country would have been signed up. Peace in the Middle East. Instead, we have a bunch of people that are so sad. And they actually would have liked to have terminated it, and they tried, and the uproar was incredible. So it means you can do that. But the Abraham Accords was absolutely incredible, and incredible for the Middle East.
We would have had virtually every country in the Middle East. You would have peace in the Middle East. Will the Abraham Accords transform into the covenant with many when Trump returns to power? Trump has been talking about a deal of the century for nearly 40 years. Don't be surprised if Trump's deal of the century is a 7-year agreement. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Daniel chapter 9 verse 27.
We're going to say a little prayer or something. Would you like to? Go ahead, please. Who's better than the rabbi at this? Come on, Rabbi. Say another one. Say another one.
We all have great gratitude to this person. This is a person that doesn't care only for himself, but cares for the entire world, and especially for the people in Israel and for the Jews in America. My blessings may the blessings from Israel come upon the president, his family, and all his friends. May God give a long life, a healthy life, a sweet life to our dear president, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
Thank you, Rabbi. I'm glad I told him to do that. He did a very good job. You've done that before, Rabbi, I guess, huh? A couple of times, huh? Thank you very much.
Donald Trump received an award from the Israel Heritage Foundation in appreciation of his efforts to forge normalization agreements between the Jewish state and 4 Arab nations under the Abraham Accords. The award, a menorah, was presented to the former president at Mar-a-Lago on February 26, and the following inscription was on the plaque at the menorah's base. This menorah, which represents the eternal light of the world,
only Jesus Christ is the light of the world. Like, you can't make this up.
Is presented to President Donald J. Trump in honor and celebration of doing what no other man has ever done, and that is to make peace between Israel, the United Arab Emirates,
Bahrain, Morocco, and the Sudan, and in the extraordinary Abraham's Accords. This is complete blasphemy. Scripture says, Numbers chapter 25, verse 12, therefore, behold, I give him my covenant of peace. Further in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 1, for a child has been born to us. See, they rejected their true Messiah who was born in their own nation, but yet they receive this guy who was born in this world, and his father is the devil, and he is... You can't make this up. A child has been born to us, a son has been given to us, and the authority will rest on his shoulders. He who is wondrous, advisor, mighty God, eternal Father shall give him the name Prince of Peace. Oh boy, there's only one person that's worthy of the Prince of Peace title. The Israel Heritage Foundation, with founded gratitude, presents this covenant of peace award to the Prince of Peace, President Donald J. Trump.
And I have to say, of all the constant reminders of how Trump lines up so perfectly with the biblical Antichrist, there is none more striking than him actually being given what's called a Covenant of Peace Award, and him being referred to as the Prince of Peace. Once again, we see that many Jews continue to view Trump as the man who will finally bring peace to the Middle East. But more than that, some view Trump as possibly even being Messiah ben Yosef, one of the two redeemers in Jewish tradition. Messiah ben Yosef will be a political and military leader who will wage war against the forces of evil that oppose Israel. He will also be involved in the building of the Third Temple. More and more, there are those who are looking at Donald Trump as the one who will build the Third Temple. From a Christian perspective, it's all rather coincidental that the man who perfectly matches how the Bible describes the Antichrist also just happens to be a builder, and also just happens to be the one that many Jews think will build that temple.